Hello, you beautiful people. So, I'm guessing you're interested in our Lord Sunday, and now you want to know all the changes that were made to his kit during the latest cycle, right? Well, fortunately for you, you've somehow landed on the absolute perfect video to get all that juicy info. Today, I'm mainly going to discuss about all the changes that were made to Sunday's kit during the latest cycle, and that's the entire topic for this video. Before we begin though, if you want around 20% discount on your Stellar Jade packs, be sure to visit the site called Lubar. I will buy this 3,280 Stellar Jades pack right here for $38, and this same pack costs me around $50 from the in-game shop. All you need to do is enter your UID in this box and select your respective server, and that's pretty much it. All the top-ups go through the official HSR top-up channel, and you can receive the double top-up bonus for your first purchase as well. Lubar is a very trusted site with a lot of positive reviews, and some bigger YouTubers have also vouched for them. By the way, if you use my link from the description or the pinned comment, you can get an extra 5% off on top of all the other discounts. Moving the sponsor aside, let me quickly mention the usual disclaimer that this version of Sunday's kit is not the final version, and changes can still be made to it unless it's officially released, so take all this info with a grain of salt. With all that yapping done, let's begin without wasting any more of your time or energy. Okay, do keep in mind that I'm only going to talk about the changes made to his kit in this video and not the entire kit, but if you are interested in knowing his initial kit, check out this video right here where I discussed his kit in detail. So, discussing the changes made to his skill, it actually received a really good utility buff because the previous iteration of his skill remained the same. But they also added another part to his skill which says that whenever Sunday uses his own skill on a target which has the beatified effect, he recovers a single skill point. Yeah, this is honestly a really huge utility buff for his entire kit, and this addition also makes him a skill point neutral unit without his light cone, and a skill point positive unit if you do end up getting his light cone as well. Also, if someone forgot what the beatified effect is, whenever Sunday uses his ultimate on a particular target from your team, he gives this beatified effect to this chosen target, and this effect lasts for a total of 3 turns. Honestly, if you have built him properly, the main DPS of your team will almost always have the beatified effect applied on him, and this makes our Lord a very comfy support due to him being a skill point neutral unit. Okay, keeping up the rhythm, let's move on from his skill and take a look at the changes made to his divine ultimate next. So, just like our Lord's skill, his ultimate also got buffed by a little bit because now he provides some better crit damage buffs to the ally with the beatified effect. These are the crit damage buffs that he provided in his initial kit, and these are the crit damage buffs that he provides after the changes. Yep, a little bit of a numerical buff, so that's pretty nice. I was hoping he would provide some more energy regeneration from his ultimate because right now, his energy regeneration is equal to Huohua's energy regeneration, but Huohua provides energy for the entire team and our Lord only provides this energy regeneration to a single target. Not really complaining though, I'm really happy with all the changes made to his initial kit, and I honestly think our Lord's kit is almost perfect, but I might be a bit biased here because it's Sunday. All in all, good numerical changes to the crit damage buffs, but not really that big of a game changer. Next up, moving on to the changes made to his talent. Would you believe me if I said that they also buffed his already insane talent? Well, that's kind of exactly what happened because now whenever Sunday uses his skill on a chosen ally from your team, he increases this target's crit rate by a total of 20% for 3 turns instead of 2 turns from his initial kit. This buff might not seem like much because most of the times you'll be spamming your skill with Sunday to action advance your main DPS, but this can still be useful in a very SP-heavy team or some other scenarios. Overall, I would say another decent utility buff to his entire kit, and do keep in mind that our Lord is the only limited Harmony support which provides both crit rate and crit damage buffs to your main DPS. Moving on, let's quickly take a look at the changes made to his technique, and I think this is the only part in his entire kit which got nerfed by a little bit. So, this was the previous iteration for his technique, and now the new iteration says that whenever Sunday uses his skill on a chosen target for the first time in the battle, he increases this chosen ally's damage by a total of 50% for 2 turns. Yeah, I know it looks like a nerf overall because it actually is a nerf, but honestly, it doesn't really matter that much because Sunday is mainly going to be played with hypercarry teams, and the main damage source in a hypercarry team is obviously the damage dealt by your main DPS. All in all, a bit of a nerf, but I think it's fine considering all the other huge buffs that he received. Lastly, let's take a look at the changes made to one of his major traces next, and after that, we'll move on to the changes made to his Eidolons and his light cone. Okay, so this was his previous major trace, and it basically revolved around making him more of a SP-friendly unit. But after the recent changes made to his skill, which already makes him an SP-neutral character, this trace was kind of useless, so they totally revamped it, and the new version of this trace says that if the energy regenerated by Sunday's ultimate on a chosen target is less than 40, this trace increases the total energy regeneration to 40. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys probably didn't understand that properly, and let me break this one down for you. So, imagine we're playing Sunday and Jing Yuan in the same team, and you use Sunday's ultimate on Jing Yuan, which regenerates 20% of Jing Yuan's max energy. Okay, Jing Yuan's max energy is a total of 130, and if you take 20% of that, the total energy regeneration should be around 26, but because of this new trace, this energy regeneration amount will be increased from 26 to a total of 40 energy. You got how it works, right? Honestly, a huge buff to his energy regeneration, and I'm somewhat happy now because I really wanted him to restore more energy, especially for my E2 Dan Heng IL. Well, that's all the changes that were made to Sunday's base kit, and I hope you guys understood my explanations. Next up, let's take a quick look at a small change made to his light cone, and we'll thoroughly discuss the changes made to his Eidolons after this. So, this was the previous iteration of his light cone, and they just simply increased the amount of turns this him effect lasts for, because now it lasts for a total of 3 turns as compared to the 2 turns in his initial kit. Basically, this change makes it easier to get the entire 45% buff from his light cone, and that's pretty much it. Also, for anyone who might be wondering, his light cone is like actually insane for him, so if you're already pulling for Sunday, you might want to consider getting his majestic light cone as well. Finally, though, let's take a look at all the changes made to his Eidolons, and starting with his E1. I think some of you might remember that in the video where I discussed his initial kit in detail, I was really hoping that his E1 would get buffed, and it actually did end up happening because his E1 is like kind of insane now, especially for summon-related main DPSs. So, this was the previous iteration of his E1, and now the totally revamped new E1 states that whenever Sunday uses his skill on a chosen target, this particular target ignores 20% of the enemy's defense, but along with this, Sunday also allows this chosen target summon to ignore a massive 40% of the enemy's defense for a total of 2 turns. Yeah, this is just genuinely a broken Eidolon now, because a 40% defense ignore is almost like having an extra Pella on your team, which is just honestly insane, and I think all the summon-related DPSs coming from patch 3.0 will obviously synergize really well with this Eidolon. By the way, if you're confused between getting Sunday's S1 or E1, I would actually recommend getting his S1 first because his S1 allows him to comfortably do a 3-turn ultimate, and it also provides insane buffs to your main DPS and their summons as well. Lastly, it also makes Sunday a skill point positive support, which is just really huge utility-wise. Next up, this used to be his old E2, and it was kind of whatever, but this Eidolon has also been totally revamped, and the new version of his E2 says that whenever Sunday uses his ultimate for the first time in a battle, he recovers an extra 2 skill points, and along with this, the damage dealt by the character with the beatified effect increases by a total of 30%. Overall, it's a decent Eidolon, but I would not say it's really that worth it, and you can easily stop at a comfy E1S1 for Sunday if you do want to go for some early Eidolons. Lastly, they also made a small change to his E6, and this change basically makes it so that Sunday's crit rate buff from his talent lasts for a total of 4 turns as compared to the 3 turns in his base kit. All in all, a somewhat good change considering how his E6 works, and if you're going for his E6 by the way, I hope your pulls go well and may our Lord bless you. Well, there you go. That's all the changes that were made to Sunday's entire kit during the latest cycle. I really hope you understood my explanation, and do tell me how you like the new iteration of his kit. Personally, I'm really happy because Sunday's kit is almost perfect in my eyes, and my glorious lord is coming home no matter what. Also, I didn't mention it before as it gets annoying, but if you liked the video, then do consider subscribing. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in another one.